Hi, I'm Sam Notebook and welcome to episode 7 of 7 in creating a course that works. So this is our last week and we're time to talk about tech. Now the tech bit is honestly the bit that freaks the most people out, but the reality is now that it really doesn't have to. There are so many options on the market that make tech incredibly easy when it comes to your first online course. I'm going to discuss with you today 4 different ways that you can deliver content to your audience. And while they vary in sort of levels of technical expertise, none of them are particularly difficult. I say that because if I can do it, I promise you anyone can do it. So let's start at the beginning. Option number 1, and by far my favorite, is self-hosted. That means that you put your course and your content on your material on your website. Now there are a whole heap of plugins that make this available, and especially if you're running a WordPress website, which most of my clients are, there are some really great course or membership plugins on the market. Some of my favorite, and I'll list them down below the video so that you don't have to listen to this frantically and write quickly. Some of my favorites are Wishlist. I've been using Wishlist Member on my websites for a long time. Wishlist has been around for a while, it's really consistent, it's really stable. It might not offer necessarily all of the functions and features of some of the others, but for me it came down to stability. And because course plugins are changing really frequently at the moment because everyone's into an online course, so it's fashionable, I just didn't want to deal with all the changes. So that's part of the reason why I'm with Wishlist Member. It's just really stable, it's been around for a long time, it's really consistent, it does all the things I need it to do. I build quite regularly on MemberPress for clients. I've got a client who's building on MemberPress at the moment, and that's really great and it's working really well for her. LearnDash is another really good one, Sensei, and if in all doubt, you can always go Zippy and host on a subdomain. Now those are just words, I know, but all you need to do with those is take the plugin, install it on the back end of your WordPress website, and follow the step-by-step instructions which come with the plugin. The truth is now most plugins do come with step-by-step instructions, and they will probably get you most of the way. If you can't do it yourself, you don't want to, you can always outsource to someone who does the tech for you. That might be your web guy, it might be a VA, might be someone like myself who can do some of these things for you. So option number 1, and by far my favorite, self-hosted. It's one of my favorites because you get the most control over things like timing, price, content, and all of the rest of it. It's your content on your site. Option number 2. If self-hosting is not your thing or it scares you a little bit, then you can always go with what I like to call a supported platform. These are platforms like, so the biggest in the market at the moment are Thinkific and Teachable, which used to be Fedora. These are platforms where all of the tech is done for you. You simply install or add your content. Now this is their website, so remember the domain would be something like Thinkific/your site or your course. You can definitely brand it and make it look like your own. You can change all the colors, you can upload all your content, and you can control the price and those kind of things as well, but it's still not your site. Things to remember with this is, those sites do charge a fee. Now that's very fair, they're doing all of the tech for you, so why should they not? Often with these sites, it's a fee per user, so if you're not getting any new students, you're not making any money, you're not paying them any money, although some of them do have a monthly fee attached as well. You can go and have a look at some of the big players and see if that's a solution for you. Option number 3, a course marketplace. The biggest example of this in the market at the moment is Udemy. Udemy is by far probably one of the most well-known course marketplaces around. It's more than just a supported platform like Thinkific, which just does the tech for you. While it does all of the tech for you, it's also a really active community where they sell courses to lots of people. They have a database of hundreds of thousands of courses with millions of users. The upside of somewhere like that is there is already an existing audience. The downsides, and with Udemy there are some very specific downsides. They give you clear instructions on how you have to build your course. Now, while that might not be a downside, it's quite structured. It's something to be aware of when you're building your content. With Udemy, for example, they're even as specific as how many of your videos must be face to camera, how long your video should be, and what proportion of your videos, or what proportion of your course should be videos. It's very specific. The other things of the platform like Udemy is ultimately they control the price, so you don't have any control over the price of your course, and they control the list. So because the client is buying from Udemy, they are a client of Udemy. Their email address, their details are with Udemy, not with you. You facilitate, but you don't own the site, you don't own you do own the content, but you don't own the site, you don't own the list. It's not yours, they're theirs. Now there are pros and cons. Obviously it's a really big active community. My best advice is always, if you're building your signature program, something that's really important to you, Udemy might not be the place for it. If you're building a smaller thing to build brand awareness or to start to get your name out there, go for gold. But if it's your real core, it's your thing, you've put all your effort into this, Udemy is perhaps not the place for you. Now, I did say there was 4. So option number 4, the last one, you don't have to do tech at all. Realistically, you can drip feed content out in an email series. I can't speak today. You can drip feed content out in an email series. My first online course was delivered entirely via email and still went for over $1,000 a piece. You can make really good money with email-based courses because the truth is they're there for the content, and you can deliver content that is just as good in an email-based course than you can with anywhere else. So if all the plugins and websites really confuse you, look at using a drip-fed email system, and most of the email providers will do that now, like ConvertKit, Aweber, or even MailChimp, and just drip feed content out to your audience. So there you go. That's 4 different ways that you can put your course online. As I said, I've put all of the details down below so you don't have to frantically make notes as you go along. Go and have a look at some of the options and see what suits you. I'm a firm believer there isn't a right and a wrong. While there are some that probably work better than others, realistically you need to find the solution that works for you. If tech is not your thing, outsource it. Or if you can't afford to outsource it, go with a low tech option to start with, and you can always upgrade at the end. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so if you have any questions, ask down below about tech options. And this is the last video in our series of creating a course that works. So the next series that starts is all about selling that course. Now that you've got a course, we're going to talk about some of the strategies you can use to list build and to sell that course of yours. So I will see you in the next episodes.